but we're actually putting ourselves in a position to always be likable.
We out here in these streets.
So we're talking about when you get famous. I have a few stories. Now, as you know, guys, I've been working in radio since 2011. I've been an artist forever. So I've been playing forever. And I've seen it all from church to the stage to award shows. I mean, just engage with a lot of different type of artists on all types of levels. And when I tell you, there's some interesting things. There's some interesting people out here. And the funny thing is, I think and I'm gonna start here, I think we forget that when we put ourselves in a public light, we're actually, what's the word? I'm always searching for my words, right? But we're actually putting ourselves in a position to always be likable, right? In a sense. Now, there are some people who make money off of not being likable. I mean, there's that dynamic. Obviously, it all depends on what field you're in. If you're in politics, you are famous for not either being likable and being likable. If you're an artist and you're like an actor or something, that's a little different. Like, because if somebody doesn't like you, they're not going to watch your shows. They're not going to even look at what you do. If they don't like your music, they're not going to buy your music. So when you're a musician and when you're there, actor, you are in a position to always be likable. If you're a pastor, you are in the position to always, at all times, be likable, and not only that, have a sense of integrity and almost have to be perfect. Like, you can't have no type of other feelings and attitudes, which is the meat of this podcast. So and it's funny, and I'm gonna talk about this recent incident that I had with somebody, but I'm not going to say the name at this point. I don't want to put them on blast. I do want to put them on blast, but I haven't graduated into the I don't care what people think. No, that's not true. I don't care what people think, but I do care about the constituents my radio station serves. So I have to be careful. So there was this artist. This artist just recently became a A-lister artist in the gospel realm. I'm giving you hints. In the gospel realm, and I happened to be in Burbank. Pretty much, I actually just came from hiking up a mountain, and I went to go get my smoothie and all that stuff, and I saw him in Burbank. I was like, hey, there's such and such a so-and-so, right? Because at first I was like looking like, wait a minute, is that so-and-so? Because so-and-so, I didn't know he was here. I didn't know he lived here. I thought he lived somewhere else where I used to live. I don't want to give that where that is, because we're getting to, people going to know. But, and I saw him, and I went over and I drove over by him just to say hi, just because I don't like chasing down artists and be like, oh, like, give me a, you're famous, let me get a picture. I don't do that, I always, I have a lot of friends that are famous, and I don't do the whole, let me take picture with you thing all the time, it, to me, it's just dumb. Like, I mean, I don't know. I just feel stupid. So I don't do it. It's not that important to me. I like to give them the space, especially when they're out trying to live a regular life. But because with this artist, I thought, okay, we know each other. We've had conversations. We see each other every year at the Stellar Awards. Not only Stellar Awards, Dove Awards. We when he was an independent artist, before he was even famous, we gave him a platform to have a concert. We put his music on our radio show before anybody knew who he was and stuff like that. So because we obviously, Speak Music Radio is dedicated to independent music, and so I went over to say hi to him because, I thought we cool because we always, palling around when we're in the circles, right? Like, especially because we're in a pretty elite Grammy circle over at the Stellar Awards every year. And we see each other. We run into each other. We talk to each other. And I go over to say hi. And I said, hey, man, how you doing? What's going on? And he's just looking at me like he don't even know who I am. Like, I mean, just giving me this weird face like, oh, please get away from me. Like, please get away. Mind you, I was still sitting in the car. He was just outside. I just pulled up and said, hey, how you doing? Just spark a little quick conversation because I was in a hurry anyway. Just wanted to say hi. then, and eventually I was gonna say, hey man, we need to get together now that you out here or whatever. But we didn't get that far because he was just looking at me like he didn't even know who I was, didn't even want to know who I was. I'm like, why, you don't remember me? You know, you remember me and Bridget, Speak Music Radio? Yeah, she lives there and I live here. Remember us? And he like, yeah. And right there, I did. Now I don't deal with foolishness. I'm just like, oh, I see what this is. Because I don't go around saying, oh, my friend is this friend and I got this as my friend and this famous person's my friend, and I don't do all that cahooting stuff. I'd rather you like me for who I am and not because of who I know. Now you want to act like, oh, he's a nobody, I don't need to really talk to him. But then too, even if you didn't remember who I am, you're freaking famous. Obviously, I'm a fan, I'm listening to the music, and you treating your fans like, oh my God, you're a disease, get away from me. And kid you not, right there, just destroyed the whole movement for me. I was a big fan of dude. Listen to his music. I even worship to his music. His music is amazing. And now I'm just like, can't even listen to it. Because he stained it with the attitude. You know, and then some people say, well, he's awkward and he's socially awkward. You know what? When you're famous and when you decide that you want to do something that puts you in the light, all that social awkward stuff needs to go out the door. I'm sure if you get a good publicist would tell you all that introverted personality, because this is one of the things that one of my friends who is, I believe, is very good at being a publicist, even though she doesn't want to be a publicist, but she's really good at it. And I'm trying to get her to be mine. She even told me, like, hey, you gotta work out your what am I doing? But anyways, that was random. But you gotta work out your attitude. I know you're introverted, but if you're expecting to get music out and get certain things out and get people to watch your podcast, you gotta have the same energy that I'm here on this podcast. You see this energy I got? Feel me? But I have to have the same energy out there with people when I'm meeting people, because honestly, I am an introvert, extreme introvert. So when I'm in a room with a bunch of people, I kind of seize up and get to myself, because I don't know, it's uncomfortable. I feel awkward. I don't know what to say. I feel like I'm making a spectacle when I'm trying to, you know. So I have to get out of that, because, you know, I see people who go in rooms who are working a room and they're loud, they're energetic, and they actually annoy me. And I don't want to be that person. But I was told that I have to, in a sense, be that person. So we have to get out of that. So long story short, he walks away. I'm just like, yo, so I called my cousin. I said, cuz, like, I just saw such and such and such and such, and he was acting like this. And then my cousin was like, yeah, that threw me off too. He did the same thing to me. And then he changed when he saw me with a certain person. And I'm like, wow, is that what he does? Now, fame and success only enhances the attitudes that you currently have. They don't change you. You're not going to be any better with money than you were without money. The difference is money's going to enhance those character traits and enhance those attitudes, because now you feel like, oh, I got money, nobody can say something to me, I can be who I am. But the funny thing is, what people don't realize, when you get famous and when you get successful and get money, you have more of a responsibility to be humble than anything, because you want people to buy into what you're doing. You want people to buy your product. You want people, and when you are not humble, when you are not, what's the word? When you're not friendly towards the people who patronize you, you're going to lose fans. You're going to lose money. You're going to kill your career before it even starts. There's so, and here's what the thing, what really made me mad was because this is a gospel artist. If anything, a gospel artist should have some type of sense of integrity. I'm not saying that they're going to be perfect, because they're human. They're going to have their moments where they have an attitude. They're going to have their moments when they don't want to talk to people. They're going to have those moments. They're going to have those moments. But there's a way to do that. Kirk Franklin does it very well. When he doesn't want to be bothered, when he's irritated, he just say, hey, you know, he just apologizes to people and he be on his way. Or he just don't even show up. like I'm not even finna go into this room like this because I understand that I have to value my fans and the people who support me more than my attitude. I love that about Kirk. The man is so wise, so, you know, humble. And I think it's because he's been through so much. He knows how that going through stuff really humbles you. When you're on the verge of losing your whole life, it humbles you. And he's able to do that very well. So I think people should take a cue from him when they're becoming famous, that you have to make sure that you are living a certain and a specific lifestyle that's going to continue to push your success. Just because I'm an introvert doesn't mean I have to keep being an introvert. Just because you're a prick doesn't mean you have to be a prick all the time. You know? So, like, and this is, and to get political, I even think Trump needs to go, like, bro, just because you a jerk. Trump has been a jerk forever. We know he's known for being one. Well, actually, he's not. Let me take that back. On Shark Tank, he was a jerk. But anything else? No, he was a pretty nice guy from what I remember. I remember when Jesse Jackson gave him the, some type of award, the NWCP award. Is it NWACP award? No, wait. It was one of those awards because he supported black people in the Rainbow Push Coalition, but then he's racist, right? But anyways, that's another stuff. That's a topic for Krista Kratikin. But he definitely can take a little cue from, hey, now you're president, so you can be hard and firm, and I like that. I like the fact that he's hard and firm, and he's very concise. This is what I'm going to do. He don't care what nobody think. But also, there's a way of doing that, and I've heard somebody say that too. Like, I loved about Obama was he had a way of saying things that made the people feel good. But let's pair that with the directness of Trump and the directness and of what he's doing. That'd be a perfect president. But anyways, so make sure, like, and I'm gonna talk to you guys who are independent artists, any upcoming actors, any people who are trying to have political influence, stuff like that. Remember one thing: we always have to work on how our personalities and our attitudes deliver to people. And I'm gonna be talking about this in the next segment about attitudes and personalities and stuff like that, and etiquette. But we have to really focus hard on what is it that we're delivering to the people. What are they getting off of me? What is it that they're taking away from my personality or how I'm presenting myself? Because that ultimately will affect your sales. And for those who don't like certain people, like, I don't like the president, I don't like Hillary, I don't like Steve Jobs, instead of complaining about these people, stop supporting them. That's an easy thing. So for me, in this situation that I just dealt with, believe me, I won't be buying none of that music. Because for me, why would I buy into you and you couldn't even just say hi to me? I wasn't bothering you. I didn't even get out of the car. I didn't pull my phone out and interrupt you there. I just said hi. And for the fact you actually know me, we see each other every year. At least if you don't remember me, you know of me. I'm not a hard person to miss, especially when we're always on the red carpet. We're always in the media room at these big award shows. We're always in the meetings with the Grammy, with you guys, the Grammy Association, with you guys. We're members of that. So that kind of threw me for a loop. So if you got people acting like that with you, let me know your story right here in the comments. Here's the question of the day. Is attitude and demeanor important when you decide to support or become a fan of an artist? I really want to know what you think. Put yes or no in the comments. Let me know why, and I will respond to those. Respond to each other. Like, if you disagree with me, you disagree. If you agree with me, you agree, because I really believe it is important. your attitude. It has to be a good one. So if you don't agree with me, let me know. If you do, let me know as well. Make sure you doing this on all my social medias. That's at the Wiley Life or at Cypher on the Block. If you like this video and more, make sure you're logging on to YouTube, the Wiley Life, also Speak Music Radio, also Cypher on the Block. All those platforms have different content on there. Obviously, Speak Music Radio is my radio station, which my Cypher on the Block is featured on. And there's other content there from BB Talks and a lot of different things. Interviews that we've done at Stellar Awards, as well as on the Wiley Life. It's all the content that I create. And Cypher on the Block is specifically this podcast. Make sure the whole podcast is in full. That's the only thing that's posted on there. All the clips are posted on the Wiley Life. So make sure you're subscribing, and pushing the notification bell, because I want to know that you make sure you're supporting. If you like everything I'm doing, support me by going to my Patreon account. That's the Wiley Life Patreon. The Wiley Life. Look that up. Become a Patreon. There's going to be some Patreon exclusive content that are going to be going. If you become a Patreon at certain levels, you will get gifts from my merch store. My merch store. You can also support me that way. If you just want to go get some merch, you can support me that way. That's on teespring.com/stores/the Wiley Life. Make sure you follow me on all of my social medias. That's Chris Conscious on all social medias. That's the Wiley Life and Cypher on the Block. Please, please, please. And we out here in these streets.